Personally, I have always believed that good people should band. They must come together to plan and discuss and decide, on action to take to solve problems anywhere, anytime. Unfortunately, we have little of that. In 2014, I convened something of that nature. We used to call a place True Talk Arena in Akure, where friends will come together and then we discussed, problems, that we saw and how we could solve them and everything. But for as long as we were discussing and trying to solve, it was obvious to me at a point that, look, there was not much that could be achieved sitting down in Akure, discussing problems without any of us being in touch with who and who, are in charge of our affairs in the country. And it was at that moment, that I made up my mind that I was going to be relevant in the scheme of things politically, for me to be able to affect what concerns this nation, or to be able to be involved in governance, which is something I'm passionate about. That was how I left that True Talk Arena and then traveled to Abuja, to belong to the Buhari Support Organization then. And that was a very smart move on my side. And till date, I have always been grateful that I went at that time in 2014. And since then, I've been a political player. I mean, I chose to be a political player rather than be a bystander, rather than be, if I had stayed with True Talk, the best I could have been was being an activist, and that's not me. I'm a player, not a fighter, So that was how I picked my own jersey, and for everyone, there's need to pick a jersey. Whenever they want to play, they need to pick a jersey. You need to decide that you're going to be a player and not a bystander. So, as I said, wanting to band was why I went to Abuja. And since then, I've been a political player. So what's a political player? A political player is not necessarily in any position, whether elected or appointed, but I'm a supporter of one who is in office, and that is, the first thing I do is that I participate vigorously in electioneering. After elections are over, in politics, if you chip in your bit during elections, then you're relevant to the person who you've helped or who you've supported to win. And that's how I operate. So in supporting the president, in supporting the governor of Kogi State, for instance, I stay relevant to things, rather than staying on the fence and watching them finish the elections and hoping that they will listen to me when I'm through. So that's how I play, politics. And I must say, for everyone, it is time for everyone to pick a jersey. It is time for everyone to decide to be part of the scheme of things. Now, it may not be as a politician, it may not be as a political player, though I believe that everyone should have interest in politics. Maybe as a school, as an educator, maybe as a school principal, it may be, whatever it is, you must at this time pick a jersey, decide on the role you're going to play. First and foremost, decide to play a role in the transformation of Nigeria. It will be very, sad indeed if we're all watching and expecting things to change. Good people stay back and don't do anything sometimes. It's because, like politics, where I play, most people consider it to be not reputable in Nigeria, for instance. And so, if you're a good person, a man of integrity, a woman of integrity, someone who wants to keep his name, you're thinking, if I get into politics, they're going to dirty my name. I mean, it's as simple as that. You can't stay with your reputation. You can retain your integrity. You can be, your character can still be the same, but definitely they are going to throw things at you, that has discouraged many. For instance, let me give an example of some that I know who are playing politics, but they came into this with their integrity, and they're staying in its integrity intact. But people will abuse them from morning till night. For instance, talk of the president himself. Everybody knows him to be a honest person. But before he came in, he was revered. People will not talk to him anyhow. But the moment he started dabbling into politics and all that, everyone will say this, that about him and all that. And that will happen to anyone who dabbles into politics. Take, for instance, another example, Mr. Additional, as an example. Many people know him to be a strong Christian and all that, before he came into politics. He hasn't changed. But if you see the way people yab him, they're like, oh, now you cannot talk. Now, because you are chopping, because he said when you can't talk when you are chopping. That's how they yab someone who they say, we thought you were a pastor. And then we thought, there's so many things that will come your way. You haven't done anything wrong. You haven't done anything, outside what you have been doing as a man of integrity. Yet, that's what you're going to get, When I say pick your jersey, one of the things you also must know is that people will ask of you, for instance, to be jack of all trades. Someone like me, I support Buhari. Very clear. There are people who support PDP, who support other parties. I will expect such people, to speak for the side which they support. I don't expect everybody to be in APC. I don't expect everybody to be supporters of APC. There will be those who support, this side and those who support that side. And everybody won't be politicians or political players. We must have activists who will attack, anything that does not go, that doesn't look well or is not good enough and all that. But for someone to be asking me on social media, and saying, so have you not seen what is happening, Boko Haram? Have you criticized today? Have you told Buhari the truth about this? Have you? And they're telling me they expect me to come to the public, for instance, to be lambasting government. I am a political player. I'm not a fighter. And so there must be those who have picked their jerseys, who are political fighters, who must come, and do that. And that's definitely not my duty. So everybody there are different roles to play. And I'm believing that each of us will pick our roles. When we begin to pick our roles, when we begin to pick our jerseys, begin to know what exactly we are supposed to be doing, in the transformation agenda of this nation, then that's when it becomes very beautiful. I'm a supporter, you are a fighter, and we're all called to build and to fight to defend what we're building. Against even the political ridicule, people ask, so how do you stay strong when people, if you've been to my page, if you've been to my Facebook page, you see people yab me anyhow, they just throw things at me and all that. And I'm one of the least yabbed though. I still, at least because I'm the way I talk with, reply people and all that, they're still a bit kind to me. But then someone just comes to your page and yabs you anyhow and say, how are you able to sustain, how are you able to, take this in and all this? It's part of the game. Once you have chosen the path you're going to tread, then you must expect whatever is going to come with it. If you're more careful, if you're more concerned about how people talk to you, if you're more concerned about how people regard you, about your reputation more than your character, you probably won't be able to do anything. You probably won't be able to do anything. So in picking your jersey, just make sure you retain who you are, character-wise. Be the good people you've always been. But don't expect that people will cheer you up or people will clap for you or that everyone is talking well of you. That's the way you know that you're a good person. Definitely not. It doesn't happen that way. Right now, we're in Kogi. Yes, I'm living in Kogi, supporting the governor of Kogi, to make things work in Kogi. I'm a political player, not a politician. For instance, with the GYB Connect, we gathered before election. We used the platform to reach people from village to village, community to community, provided water, provided, the things, the basic things that the people asked for. Now, if I did not participate in electioneering, there was no way I could, be of influence or have a role to play. So in knowing and staying and supporting a governor, I am able to chip in my bit, to what he wants to do and how we can run, a state, how we can improve on whatever it is that is on ground. That is being a political player. GYB Connect is a good example of banding together. We come together to do practically everything. We come together to learn, like now. I like, to spend time, teach one or two things. In fact, when we came together, the first thing we did was to have 8-point, yes, 8-point rules of the game, which it has to do with you shall, 8 golden rules. You shall not cheat. You shall not lie. You shall not take bribe. Strata of the nation has to come, people must come together to plan, to decide, to affect, people and all that. Yes, one of the things I also say, if you're going to come together, good people, sometimes good people are also religious people. Barry, you're a very religious person. Yes, and so many good people are religious people. And so sometimes they do not know that it is not just about coming together and squeezing their faces and all that. You gather people because they are good people, and you think it's all about serious stuff and all that. Yeah, I personally believe that when we come together, we have time to relax together, laugh together, we dance together, we sing together. We do everything because, this fight, what we're going to be doing, the fight to get Nigeria back on its feet is not a one-day thing. It's going to take some time. And so we must prepare, as you're picking your jersey, as you're picking the role you're going to play, as you band together to do it, you must take the kind of tempo that you can keep for years. Stay doing it and be enjoying it while you're going on. That was why, for instance, I said I couldn't be an activist, because when I'm angry with you now, I can get angry against injustice right now, and I'm fighting and saying, no, this is injustice. I won't. The next day, if you ask me to come, let's go back to police station, I don't want to go. The thing will have died down. All the gra inside me would have gone. So I am not that kind of person that can sustain, anger. Like people like Faweyemi in those days. Faweyemi will fight today, will come tomorrow. You wake him in the night, wake up and let's go fight. He'll be there to fight. That's an activist, by calling. So we must design, and that's what we've done here in Kogi with GYB Connect. Design, something that is interesting, that you can stay with, that you can enjoy while doing, and you will know that we're going to fight on one hand, we're going to build on the other hand. Whatever we're doing, you know your role, and you're ready to play it, in the country. Even with the desire, even when you have the desire to do, you have the desire to pick a jersey. Sometimes people are wondering, they are sitting back and wondering, how do I know which jersey to pick? Am I a striker, a midfielder, or a defender? How do you know the role to play? How do you pick your jersey?